The dawn of the final day is upon us. Just kidding. It's the last week of CFGC Street Fighter, folks. And boy, are we ready for it here on the desk. My name is Will Jenkins. Joining me once again is Moss Man himself. Moss, I'm going to ask you the same question I ask you every week. How we doing?
Doing fantastic. Every Monday watching Whack play Street Fighter 6 is a fantastic Monday.
Exactly. Could not agree more. And thank you guys for choosing to share it with us. And let's talk about how this has really gone for Mr. Way Awesome Kevin as we approach this final week. It's had its ups and downs for sure. But overall, you know, comparing it to last season, I think it's been a solid year for Mr. Way Awesome.
Yeah, he has an exactly 50% win rate this season. He has 50 and 100 in sets. So, been back and forth. I've seen him improve heavily, though.
Yes.
He's become just a better fighting game player in general. He's learned more about what Bison is good at and the matchups that he faces within this league.
And he's hit his highest rank ever as well, hitting High Master. Fortunately, has dropped out of it just barely. I think he's off by like 20 MR or something about that. So that is really unfortunate. But let's take a quick break from talking about that to talk about the schedule that we have for this week in Shenandoah Esports. It is, of course, a Monday, which is, hey, right now, Academy Street Fighter up against those three individuals on the board. And then we have Varsity Smash Bros. In NECC Nationals, which actually have qualified for a bye in the first round. So that's going to be interesting to see who they face, as showed by that TBD. And then Wednesday, we got the man to the left of me competing in CFGC final week as well, but this one up for Tekken, so that should be a interesting watch, especially with all the shenanigans happening around those Season 2 patches. So that's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on for sure. But enough about Tekken. Let's talk about the game that we're here to watch, the fighting game that we care about tonight, and that is, and really every night, Street Fighter 6.
Well, real quick, I just want to mention that the reason you didn't see Rocket League on our schedule this week is because they just competed in our grand finals for Division 4 Eastern side last week, and they won. So congrats to our Rocket League team from last week. They did a great job throughout the season, and it was rewarded at the end of it. But like you mentioned, Nationals next week, just been told by producers.
Nice.
So Nationals for a lot of the games within NECC are starting between this week and next week. So it'll be fun to watch how well they do in the national side of things. But Street Fighter 6 tonight. We have JP tonight, I believe. We also have a Rashid. Both characters that Kevin has played this season so far.
Yeah, we definitely have been popping up a lot in this season, but don't just take our word for it. We actually have Mr. Benjamin Kincaid, Mr. Exil, I guess courtside, not courtside, screen side with Way Awesome Kevin. I guess that would be the technical term on that. But Ben, take it away.
Thank you so much, Will and Moss. I am joined by Way Awesome Kevin here, a Street Fighter 6 player at Shenandoah University. First things first, how are you feeling here tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm filled up with Taco Bell and Monster and ready to rock and roll.
Filled up with Taco Bell and Monsters, quite the combo. Hopefully the evening goes as planned and you don't, get the runs. No, it's okay. Sorry. Exactly. I did kind of. Anyways, back on track. We have very tough matches for you here tonight. JP and Rashid, two matchups that you have played often throughout this semester. How do you feel about those two matchups?
Yeah, it's a shame to say that I feel like I'm still trying to figure out the Rashid one specifically. I think I've learned a lot more about JP and how I'm supposed to really try and take advantage of it.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. We have some technical difficulties there with the interview, so hopefully we might be able to get you the last second of that interview. Really unfortunate. But as previously mentioned, JP and Rashid definitely on the harder end for Bison. But talking with Way Awesome Kevin, felt fairly confident in that JP matchup due to Bison's neat trick, and that's to completely avoid any projectile.
That's going to be extremely hard to do because JP has an insane mix-up of projectiles.
Yes.
And pretty much this entire season for Way Awesome Kevin, it's been a learn the Rashid and JP matchup simulator.
Yeah.
We have seen a lot of matchups both on stream and off stream where Kevin has had to face multiple Rashids and JPs over the course of the year. And I think that he's had varying success with it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a few 3-2s in there. There's a few times where he's struggled a lot, you know, been 4-1, but there's also, I believe, don't quote me on this, he has beaten a JP this season. And hopefully we can see that again tonight.
Yeah, I think he's beaten multiple over the course of the season. I do know about the one confirm as well, but yeah, it seemed like these JP and Rashid players are just crawling all over CFGC right now. But I mean, for good reason. Both very strong characters. JP won, was it the EVO championship?
He won Capcom 11, which was the biggest prize pool in fighting game history, actually. Over $1 million.
There we go. Yeah.
Insane work. Fantastic.
I didn't know that, and I guarantee you at home didn't know that either. So there you go. There's your fun fact for the day. Maybe we should make that like a full-time sequence where you just give us like a cool, fun fighting game fact every broadcast. I think that'd be neat. Anyway, going on to the matchups tonight. You had a chance to sit down and talk with Way Awesome Kevin, talk about what he's going to see tonight, who he's going to face. You know, can you kind of expand on that a bit?
Well, when it comes to, we have the Rashid. Let's talk about the Rashid first. Rashid obviously has really good pressuring tools. He can keep you pressured. He can also keep you at a distance and still be as effective.
Yep.
Now, what Kevin has, told me prior is that he's going to try and kind of pick his battles. He is going to play a little bit further back. And what he used to do was use the Psycho Crusher to get in.
Yeah.
But the Psycho Crusher is easily counterable about a lot of Rashid's tools. So he's going to try to do a little bit more of the crouching mid kick, which has pretty good range and can kind of stop some of those tools that Rashid uses to keep pressure on him.
Yeah, and I think you kind of touched on it, being able to pick your battles and talking about all the tools Rashid has after Psycho Crusher. And that's why the character is so popular and the top tier character right now, because you can it's a Swiss Army knife. You can do anything you want with that character. It's just so oppressive. If you want to fight up close, you can. You want to fight at distance? Sure. Literally any situation you want to do as that character, you can safely and comfortably do.
Exactly, and we mentioned before, his level 2 is great.
Yeah.
He has a lot of opportunities to be safe on plus on block, so if somebody blocks one of his moves, he can very easily just continue the pressure and keep it going. But we have some stats we need to take a look at, so let's go ahead and take a look at some stats for Way Awesome Kevin.
Yeah, last season taking a look at that record, just 3 games above 500 there, so that is a good one with that win-loss ratio of 1.1 and a ranking of 57 out of 88. That was definitely something he wanted to change as the season had gone on. We don't have the other half for you guys here today, but as Moss mentioned, sitting at 500 right now for the year is definitely not something to shoo away, especially with still an entire playoff bracket still around the corner for CFGC. That's going to be something to look to improve.
Yeah, the playoff bracket for CFGC is top 16, which sadly Way Awesome Kevin was not able to make this season. He's floating around the 40 out of 80 mark currently, 50 and 100, and floating also around pretty much the same record as last season, which is really interesting because I'm floating around the same in Tekken, but both of us as players have felt like we've improved a whole bunch, and it's kind of just interesting to see whether or not maybe CFGC is becoming more top heavy, better players are coming in, some of the weaker players may be leaving. It's an interesting dynamic for sure.
Yeah, and I think that plays in the part of the league is getting more recognition as well. So more people are aware. So you do have higher tier competition coming in. And also you've mentioned in previous broadcasts, everyone's continuing to get better. So yes, you're continuing to get better. Yes, Kevin's continuing to get better, but I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but you have to outpace them, which is not an easy thing to do. So it's definitely going to be it's definitely going to be something to keep in mind as you progress. I'm sure you have thoughts if you want to do this again next year. Fortunately, Way Awesome Kevin is going to be graduating, unless he comes back for PhD. Then you might continue to see him again, but odds of that, I'm sure, are up to him, and we do not know. But let's talk about this first matchup. We have gotten confirmation it is going to be the JP matchup. So, why don't you fill us in on what you discussed about JP with Way Awesome Kevin? Oh boy, he's getting ready.
Oh boy. All right. JP, what an insane character. We already know. Projectiles everywhere. Very slow character, but that's balanced out by the projectiles itself. Kind of able to control space in that way, but not able to always get up and close exactly when he wants to be. And the other characters in the game, most of them are faster, so they can kind of offset the projectiles by using their movement. But when you have projectiles coming from below you, straight at you, and above you, sometimes behind you, it's a little difficult to read exactly when you can pounce on JP. Yeah. And so one thing that is a tell of JP, especially Alien, which, like we mentioned earlier, Way Awesome Kevin has played both of these players earlier in the season. Alien used Amnesia a lot. Now, what Amnesia is, it's a move where JP kind of stands all proud like and like gets like a golden glow around him, and if you are to hit JP, 2 projectiles come out and try to just catch you off guard. So what Kevin is most likely going to try to do tonight is try and hit him with that the crouching medium kick we talked about earlier, drive rush into him and try to bait out the Amnesia and then pounce on him, which I think is a very sound strategy. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I mentioned it earlier about Psycho Crusher ignoring projectiles. You got to remember it only ignores 1, I believe, unless you overdrive it. Then it ignores 2, right?
Are you mentioning the Twitter clip that went viral last week?
Well, fill us in.
There is a Twitter clip last week. If you whiff parry, then block the first projectile when he sends out the 2 consecutive projectiles,
you get an additional.
Then no, you have an extra frame after you block the first one to pull off a move that you normally wouldn't able to do. If you just block them both normally, you essentially have been pressured, and you just have to keep blocking and hope that you don't get mixed up. But if, like I mentioned, if you whiff parry, then block the first one, and then hit a move, it works.
It just works.
Don't ask me how. Numbers are scary and weird, but it works.
We are also talking about the same guy that found out that frame data was lying to him on his own character, basically completely on his own. Had a little bit of help from the internet, but was basically like, yeah, no, this is wrong.
This is a lie.
I'm not gonna put it past Way Awesome Kevin to pull off in this match at all. And talking to most players, they say JP. It's gonna be like a SpongeBob episode when they're talking about how scary. What was that? I don't remember the name, but how scary that one guy is. But to Kevin, you ask Kevin, and he's just like, "Yeah, it's JP. I'll win. It's fine."
Yeah, he does like the JP matchup a lot. Maybe not a lot, but he likes it definitely more than the Rashid one, which I think most people would agree with, except for the people that get overly upset about projectiles and zoning characters. Zangief is a special case. That's a scary name to just say in this arena.
Shivers me. Shiver me timbers.
Scares me so much, especially as a Kami player.
But I get that. As a Kuma player, I can attest. One throw and that's half my health.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of health, but like we were mentioning with JP earlier, there's a lot of other things. He's going to try his best to catch Kevin off guard a lot and get his setups in, because once he has setups in, it's extremely hard to get out with all those projectiles whirling around you. Yeah, it's a little scary. So trying to catch the JP off guard and keep pressure on him while also not falling into that trap that we were mentioning about the Amnesia. The Amnesia move.
Yeah, and it's also hard to keep track of, really. The thing I can kind of connect it to for those that are more familiar with other games is Snake and Smash. All the grenades, all the C4, all the rockets, it is so hard to keep up with. And it's just so much on your screen to look at. But enough about us talking about what could happen. We're going to get to see what actually will happen between this Bison and JP.
Yeah, strong start here for the JP as he now backs Kevin in the corner. Hasn't taken a bit of damage yet. but the punish cower comes through, trying to bait the amnesia already. Kevin drive rushes in for just a second, backs up. The low projectile is going to catch him a little bit. Not looking too good on this first round. It's going to be a perfect KO for Ilian.
Yeah, and looks like JP just completely controlling the space right there in this matchup, so maybe a little more aggressiveness out of Way Awesome Kevin. And there's those projectiles from Amnesia that we talked about.
Yeah, strong start for the JP. Now, it's a little bit hard. Usually zoners can start off a little bit better. They get hot starts simply because of the projectiles and, you know, catching the other players off guard with their timing, as Ilian has done so far. And the grab going to come through, reading the drive rushing himself back up, but the low kick is going to sweep out the legs of Ilian.
Oh, great read on the DP, and now it is going to be a combo potential for Way Awesome Kevin. JP is going to hit us with level 3, but perfectly read by Way Awesome Kevin. OD Psycho Crusher, and he is in burnout, but he has enough to take that win, and now tied up 1-1 in round number 1.
That round started off just as scary as the first one for Way Awesome Kevin, but he was able to get back in there, keep the fight up, and now even out the first set here as the Goomba Stomp comes through. Not going to hit, but the throw following up will. A little bit of back and forth here. JP now has Kevin right where he wants him. Here come the projectiles. They're scary, they're weird, but the Psycho Crusher's gonna fail. Drive impact from the JP.
Yeah,
huge special there.
Great drive impact there by JP to read that OD Psycho Crusher coming out of Way Awesome Kevin, and that is a big blow. As you can see, health is down, but so is JP, slowly but surely, because JP is trying to get some distance on this Bison, and there's that gap close that we talked about that he can try and take advantage of, but JP is also able to do that and takes the round with relative ease.
Back and forth there, Kevin. I believe that is the look. That's the look I usually get when I know that my game plan can work. It doesn't quite get there, but there are 5 sets here per match in CFGC. So we are already in our second set. Kevin has Ilian in the corner, currently trying to get out, tries to keep Kevin away with that projectile up in the air, but it's not going to work as he now has him pressured in the corner.
Ooh, but JP flips it and it does get the drive impact. Oh, but whiffs on that second one, but is still able to get it. Perfect parry again on the drive impact, and now Way Awesome Kevin is on the offensive, but JP able to hit that Amnesia, and there are all those projectiles that Moss mentioned earlier on, and now Way Awesome Kevin trying to just get out of this corner right now.
Yeah, the jump timing a little bit off there, and it looks like he's going to get wall splatted by Ilian, who was able to take the first round here in set number 2. Now, Kevin told us before he wants to try and bait those Amnesia out, but he's having trouble reading exactly when Ilian's going to throw them out.
Yeah, you can see that matchup preference on that side there. I think Bison is one of the few characters that can consistently deal with the shenanigans of JP and all that goes into zoning as a character. But right now, this JP is definitely just absolutely cooking with all these projectiles and trying to bait out that Amnesia. It's not really appears to work that well.
Yeah, another thing that we didn't mention earlier, but JP has really good mids.
Yes.
His mids are right now doing a lot of the heavy lifting, able to keep Kevin even further away. So now he's keeping him away, really far away from the stage with his projectiles. But now when he gets in close, he's hitting him with the mids like we just saw there, the medium.
Yeah, you got to be so careful about that. And there is Psycho Crusher trying to close that gap, but you got to watch out for those mids, and they just seem to be working right now so well for this JP.
Yeah, the medium's doing a wonderful job there for Ilian. A little bit of moves back and forth here. Each character trying to take space on the stage, but the spacing battle is going to go to JP for now, along with the first round here in set number 3.
Yeah, and it just seems like this JP is completely controlling the flow of this game right now. And we do see Way Awesome Kevin with a great early start there, trying to get some aggression going towards him. We are going to see the DI come out, and the level 2, I believe this is, going to connect and do a lot of damage.
Now he missed the last hit there, but still did a lot of damage to Wack, who's also now burnt out. Going to try to get in there. Caused a little bit of damage to JP. Not a lot, but almost even in health now. The jump read by Ilian. Grab comes through. Kevin now on his back foot. And he gets hit by the setup into a crazy projectile there from JP. No, almost no health left, and the grab will take Kevin down.
I mean, what else can you say? And even you see it on way out of Kevin's face. He knows that this game plan can work. He knows that it should work. It's just the last piece of the cards is not going into it and is trying to figure out what he can do. There's that amnesia we talked about earlier. The projectiles, just absolutely relentless. And this is why JP is such a strong character right now.
Yeah, Kevin trying to keep him away with a lot of those crouching punches. Able to do it for a little bit. Not too even in the health department. Goes for a sweeping low kick, doesn't hit it. JP gonna jump his way in there. Hit Kevin with a few projectiles. Now has him against the corner. Psycho Crusher doesn't come through. The medium punch does, along with the upside down T-punch. Slides in, doesn't work. Drive rush into the bounce, and the projectile taking round number 1 of set 4 for Ilian.
Yeah, this JP just controlling space masterfully and not panicking when this Bison gets up close and personal. In fact, I think he's inviting him to do so. And then as soon as Bison backs off, that's pretty much game over, because you're not going to beat JP at long range. I don't care who you are in this game. It's just not going to happen that way. But now we see Weston Kevin has him in the corner and see what he can do with this. Amnesia comes out, and look at the combos right now and the setups from this JP doing so well. But health on both sides, relatively even.
Teleport from JP, trying to get in close. Going to be able to just for a second. Way awesome Kevin backs up for just a minute. Backs Ilian into a corner, but the drive rush comes through. Wall bounce into the level 3 from Ilian.
Yeah, just fantastic job of waiting for Way Awesome Kevin to make his move, and knows exactly what he wants to do to take that round, and does just that. Phenomenal execution out of that JP, and really an absolute clinic on how to control the pace and space of that match.
Yeah, Kevin currently getting hit by a lot of what we were expecting from Ilian, and I think that's part of the frustration that we're starting to see come out in his play.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is, and now he's in the back corner of the screen, and that's where JP thrives in this matchup. And we just see the relentless approach that this JP has, and is also surprisingly really offensive with his drive impacts in this one. And here we see Way Awesome Kevin trying to get at least one off him, and we're going to see the level 1, I believe, go in and connect on that JP and finish that combo off.
That was an incredible Goomba Stomp to keep that combo going. Absolutely wonderful play there from Way Awesome Kevin. Let's see if he can keep it going into the second round here. Try to take a set off of Ilian, as it's not going to start off great for him. Projectile comes from underneath, but the Psycho Crusher goes through the second one, looking for the grab. Amnesia comes in, but the JP didn't read the drive impact. Kevin now has a bomb placed. JP trying to wait it out. Just crouch blocking right now. Trying to jump in, find an opening, not able to.
Yeah, this JP in burnout, not a great look. And Way Awesome Kevin reads the super, and now it is likely going to be a super of his own coming out to finish out this combo. Not quite. Bomb is placed. Psycho Crusher is going to go out, but punish is going to happen. But Way Awesome Kevin trying to get the level 3 off. Is it going to connect? And it is. Way Awesome Kevin is able to take round number 5 in this one 4-1. Fantastic job right there.
Yeah, one thing we saw
He's all smiles.
As we watched Kevin laugh about that set, he used the drive bar, he used his supers like pretty much constantly. He was kind of using his resources a lot more than he had the previous 4 sets, which was a big difference. And that I think it overwhelmed the JP in a way, which is I think what made the difference that final set.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same mantra that we've talked about, where the more you play against someone in these sets, the more you know how they play. So I think it took maybe a few rounds for him to adjust to that JP's plan, get acquainted with what he was doing, the style he wanted to play, and made fantastic adjustments there in that final round. And hopefully he can carry that into the next match.
Yeah, very great for Kevin's momentum going into this matchup against Rashid. Really tough those first 4 sets were against him. It was a lot of back and forth. So some sets, one set, he struggled a lot. It happens. JP is a fantastic character. Ilian's a great player. But what was a little disappointing was getting hit a lot by the Amnesia.
Yeah.
We mentioned it before the match started that was a big part of Ilian's strategy the previous time that these two faced off, and it was a big part of this matchup as well.
Yeah, and it felt really like Wayas Kevin was never really fully in control. It always felt like he was playing at the pace that the JP wanted to, whether that was quick and close. The JP with those mids, just absolutely brutal. And then when he adjusted for that, JP's like, oh, you're going to back off me. Well, guess what? I'm the best character in the game for a reason. I'm going to make you pay for sitting back. And by the time he adjusted for that, it was already 4-1. So really unfortunate with that.
Still great play. As always, we see Kevin over the course of every series that he plays adjust very well over time. Here, as we take a look at some of these replays, the first round of the very first set, it's definitely a little bit of a struggle for him.
Yeah.
Baiting out the Amnesia a few times there, but never really able to make plays off of that.
Yeah, and I think that very first round kind of caught him by surprise. That the JP was able to do what he did at such a close range, because I think he was accounting for that JP to just hold down back the entire match and not leave the corner of the screen. But that JP got up close and personal, challenged him as a player, and forced him to make decisions on the fly, and took advantage of that.
Yeah, a lot of the setups that we hopefully didn't want Awesome Kevin to encounter, he did encounter them. And it killed a lot of his momentum. We'd see some back and forth. Then the JP would just get the upper hand and not really let it go for most of the rounds after.
Yeah, and I know I mentioned, it felt like JP controlled the pace of the game, and it just goes to show, the talent level in CFGC. I mean, I don't think, because at the beginning of the season, Awesome Kevin hit Masters. And many of his opponents have been of the high master tier, which is just absolutely unreal competition to be going up against on a consistent basis.
Yeah. One thing I do want to highlight, I believe we just saw in the replay, was that Goomba Stomp. That was an incredible counter. We saw, I believe, the level 2 come through just a second before, and off of that bounce, off of the floor bounce from JP, Kevin immediately hits the Goomba Stomp and keeps the combo going.
Yeah.
And that was incredible to watch. I wish that someone had recorded my reaction to that, because I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, no, I can't confirm. Moss jumped up and put his hands up in the air after that. So definitely, no. And that's really comparing him from last season to this season. There's so many more options, I think, that he has found on Bison that he enjoys. He's not set to the same game plan. He's not set to the same combo. Combos don't usually change too much from the patch to patch. Usually it's just, this move might be slightly more minus on block or slightly more plus, trying to give characters advantage. But it's the new options that he's been able to find, because it felt like at the beginning of the season, every week he would come up to me and be like, hey, look at this cool combo I just discovered or found out how to do. And I'm like, how do you figure these things out? Because as someone who picked up the game thanks to him, I don't know how he does it.
A lot of it is frame data. It's studying frame data. It's being in the lab as much as Kevin is.
I was going to mention that.
He is constantly in the lab. I think he's in the lab more than he's in.
It's over half his time. He showed me a chart of his playtime. I think it's 66% of his time is in the lab, which is absolutely insane. And then to be at high master area on top of that, it just shows how dedicated he is to grinding this game.
Yeah, and what we were mentioning before with not leaning on one or two specific moves. We talked about this a few weeks ago on our last broadcast, how he's shifted his gameplay, his strategy, I guess is a better word for that, to be more flexible. Usually last season, he would come in with a set game plan and he would just essentially use his tool set to get to where he felt he needed to be, and then would pressure the other character as much as he could. This season, we're seeing a lot more flexibility out of Way Awesome Kevin.
Yeah, it's that growth we mentioned, definitely taking effect across here and all of CFGC. But we are going to take a quick break right now, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back soon.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry, so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth, where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
And just like that, we are right back here in the Esports Arena at Shenandoah University, and we have just gotten word that the other set is just wrapping up, so that JP you just saw way awesome Kevin face, I believe, has also taken the set, or they're actively finishing their first round, up 4-0 currently. We will have to wait and see what that final result is, but that's good news for way awesome Kevin, I would say.
Yep, very good news is he's been waiting around ready to get his hands on his fight stick. His hitbox, I mean, not fight stick. He doesn't have...
Yeah, he doesn't have a stick.
There's no stick on that one, but so let's talk about the Rashid matchup. We've talked about this approximately 5 streams here this semester because Rashid's constantly played. Everybody knows it. Everybody hates it. But Rashid is a wonderful DLC character that you have to spend money on. And it works. It works very well.
In all fairness, so is Bison.
Bison is too, but Bison's not the top 1 character in the game, to be completely fair.
You think Rashid's number 1 over JP?
I mean, JP was a pull. I don't think he's the best character in the game. I think he's up there. But I think most people are going to agree. Actually, there's been a lot of arguments on Mai recently.
I have seen some ridiculous combos out of Mai. That character has some insane setups, but we're not worrying about Mai right now. We're talking about the Rashid matchup. So Moss, fill us in on that a bit.
The matchup is pretty similar to what it was before. Well, we originally talked about it. If Kevin, playing as M. Bison, gets advantage, he should be able to keep it. Rashid has the tornadoes, as always. Yep. He has a lot of pressure tools, but he doesn't have a lot of full screen options. So if Kevin wants to, he can kind of back up a little bit and wait for an opening.
Yeah.
But we'll see exactly how this matchup ends up going here in about a second or two as we're looking to get into the match. And here we go. Kevin already got the Rashid in the corner, which the name of the player is ironically DJ.
Yeah, DJ playing Rashid feels like a crime, but right now, way awesome Kevin, we're seeing early shades of his previous playstyle where he would just force opponents into the corner and just absolutely berate them with combos and bombs and Psycho Crushers and level 3s. But we'll see if there's more of that. Great punish right there.
Yeah, way awesome Kevin not letting this Rashid go into the air unchecked as he is going to take the first round practically just off of punishes from Rashid jumping in the air and whiffing.
Yeah, really doing a great job of reading that early drive dash right there by that Rashid, and is able to make him punish him for it. And now Rashid are back in that corner.
Yeah, Rashid, we've noticed so far just through a set and a half that he's kind of scared. He's just kind of scared to get too close to M. Bison until he knows he has an opening, like he just found here as Kevin's back into a corner. The throw comes through and it's sent him to the ground, but the drive impact from Kevin is going to gain some more space on the stage. However, combo from DJ, I mean Rashid, right after leads to a tornado that gets blocked by way of some Kevin.
Yeah, I would just refer to them by character name because that will get confusing real quick. When we call him DJ on the desk, people will be like, "Yeah, why are these guys casting? This is not DJ. It's clearly Rashid. What are we talking about?" But DJ.
The only
I just
time.
did it. Rashid doing a great job in that round to take that back.
All right, let's get a little bit of a regain here as we get a bomb placed right on to Rashid. The Psycho Crusher comes through, sends DJ into the corner.
Stop.
Another bomb placed. Throw hits Rashid. Kevin trying to keep him in the corner. Parry comes through into a grab. Going to do a little bit of damage and switch sides there for Rashid.
Yeah, really great job by Awesome Kevin staying patient and waiting. And perfect parry is going to come out, and that should be the round for Way Awesome Kevin. And there it is, round 1 in favor of him. And there's that big sigh of relief because that's exactly the way anyone feels when playing a Rashid in this game.
Yeah, and that's also, that right there we can sense is the relief that the game plan is working.
Yes.
Kevin is controlling the stage so well right now. Look at him just poking, doing so much damage to Rashid. Not even using a combo. But speaking of combos, we get one. Bomb is going to get placed onto Rashid. Kevin looking for a perfect. Not able to find it just yet.
Yeah, and meanwhile, this Rashid's drive meter just going down and down, trying to be so defensive. And way awesome Kevin comes away with a perfect round to start things off. Exactly what you want to see if you are an SU fan. See what he can do now. We see Drive Rush going to come out trying to keep this combo going. Bomb placed onto this Rashid, and way awesome Kevin is just relentless right now.
Yeah, like I talked to Kevin right before this matchup, and he said that he's going to try and keep close to Rashid, as Rashid wants the exact opposite. And it's kind of working out here. Low Tornado comes through, doesn't hit the Psycho Crusher to counter it. Does, though. A little bit of side switch there. Rashid now has control of the stage. Hopefully not for too long here. Kevin hoping to look to jump or drive rush out of the corner, and is going to be able to. Puts a lot of pressure on the Rashid. Now in burnout.
Yeah, and this Rashid right now just fully on the defensive. And meanwhile, speaking of defense, oh no! The Psycho Crusher gets interrupted, and now he's in burnout. What can he do? Has to be so careful. Sliver of health for him right now.
Yeah, the Psycho Crusher not exactly working out the way to hope, but that low slide gets a little bit more space for Kevin to work with here. But the spinning move from Rashid takes the round here in set number 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, awesome Kevin's defense has been absolutely phenomenal against this Rashid to start things off. I mean, he's been absolutely phenomenal in this one. Really just an absolute clinic on how to play defense in Street Fighter, and hopefully seeing more of that, waiting for his time to shine right now. Both players about even in a drive gauge, and now this is when Way Awesome Kevin strikes.
Yeah, that neutral game doing a lot of the heavy lifting there for Way Awesome Kevin. Throw comes through. Burnout on the Rashid. Way Awesome Kevin reads the jump. Drive impact against the wall is going to stun Rashid. Kevin's looking for the combo. Hopefully it's a level 3, and he gets the level 2. My fault. Went for the level 2 instead of level 3. It doesn't matter. It will work out anyways as Kevin takes set number 2. And Kevin laughing right now is saying he's sorry. I really wanted to see the level 3, Kevin. Let me see it then. Let me see it. Let me see it, man.
Yeah, I mean, still, just phenomenal job, though, of biting, waiting, biding his time, and reacting to what this Rashid was throwing at him. And he's done an absolutely fantastic job. And now we see him increase the pace of this game by even more to start things off.
Yeah, the Rashid, they're finally able to find something to use to get Way Awesome Kevin out of the corner, but he himself cannot find his way out of it most of the time. However, the throw comes through. Side switch. We're going to see a combo here from Rashid. Drops it there at the end, which gives Kevin space to work with.
Yeah, got to be careful right now. Health in favor of Way Awesome Kevin. And this, as you mentioned, this neutral game for Way Awesome Kevin is the reason why he's been able to find so much success in this matchup so far. Let's see what he can do. Deep drive rush, not gonna quite find anything, but the flip kick, such a solid move for this Bison. And now Rashid out of meter and out of health as well, as Way Awesome Kevin takes that round.
Yeah, we are seeing Way Awesome Kevin do a fantastic job of controlling the neutral. That space right there where both players are kind of walking back and forth, waiting to see what the other one is going to do. Kevin is just dominating that space, unable to let the Rashid do anything here as he is going to get stunned. Kevin looking for a combo, not able to get it, but he will get the Goomba Stomp. Looking for more moves. Rashid trying to jump out of it, trying to catch the Bison off guard. Both players playing a little bit of neutral game. A little bit of a combo there coming in for Rashid.
Yeah, both players with level 3 and looking to use it. And there is Rashid's. Speaking of that, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on as this is coming out. And Grab is going to run, and the level 3 runs out just in time. Expires, and this Rashid has to be kicking himself for that one.
Yeah, Rashid was trying to use the tornado to gain space on the stage, keep Kevin back into the corner, which he's going to keep trying to do. A little bit of poke damage coming out from both. Goomba Stomp not going to hit. Kevin now in burnout, but has Rashid on his back heel.
Yeah, what can he do? Tricky part is burnout and that chip damage. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Rashid with the parry. And there it is, the tornado to finish things off. And now a chance at redemption for this Rashid.
Yeah, low sweep there from Way Awesome Kevin. He mentioned to me before this stream started that he wanted to look for those, trying to keep Rashid a little uncomfortable by hitting those every once in a while to keep him off of his game.
Yeah, and right now it seems just like that. And this Rashid regains a lot of meter with those parries. For those that don't know, if you are in a parry and you get hit by a move, you regain any meter that you may have, plus additional missing meter as well for each additional hit. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on in this one. But already on the back foot in terms of meter, and we just see that Psycho Crusher take out a big chunk from it.
Yeah, we noticed the Rashid's game plan currently as he sends a tornado out again. Psycho Crusher comes through, but I think Kevin is kind of okay with that.
Oh, no.
Taking the damage in exchange for the space on the stage. The bomb is going to come through. He now has flipped the script on the Rashid. He has him in the corner, looking for another bomb placement, and he's going to get the level 3 here and take set number 3 against Rashid.
And there's that level 3 you wanted, Moss, right there. Absolutely fantastic combo. I think that's a new one. I don't think we've seen that one on broadcast yet. Just a great job of keeping up the strings and punishing that Rashid for missing that overdrive tornado, and takes the series now at 3-0. And so now the rest is just for just extra credit.
Extra credit indeed. Kevin already has Rashid back into the corner. Gonna able to tech the throw. Looking for, guessing another one. Not able to find it. Perfect parry comes through. Switches sides on and Bison. Drive rush. Not able to get anything out of it. Medium crouching punch comes through to back him off a little bit. Parry as well, straight into a throw.
Yeah, right now this Bison is just relentless, and this Rashid can't do anything about it. You see the drive rush there to make sure that this Rashid has that health bar hit 0, and now Way Awesome Kevin is 1 round away from securing match 4, I guess would be the term there. Never round match, set 4. Yeah, there we go. But really just fantastic job. As I mentioned, the defense out of Way Awesome Kevin in this has been absolutely phenomenal, and just a textbook of what you want to see out of a Street Fighter character in this matchup against Rashid.
Yeah, able to keep the Rashid guessing and a little scared here, especially of the bomb that just goes off, enabling Kevin to be able to hit a little bit of a combo, not getting much damage off of it, but Rashid's been playing on his back foot almost all of the 4 sets we've seen here so far, and I kind of want to see a little bit more pressure out of him. He's not using all of his tools to keep that pressure on Kevin, and exactly that is what leads to another level 3 for Way Awesome Kevin.
Yeah, just absolutely backbreaking if you're this Rashid. You think you have an opening, you think you're finally going to be able to do your game plan, and Way Awesome Kevin just says, nuh-uh, I'm going to hit you with this anti-air, and then level 3 you afterwards, taking yet another set and 1 away from a 5-0.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful work here from Way Awesome Kevin, as we now see a familiar sight that we've seen a lot these past 4 sets, and that is the Rashid in the corner trying to defend against a bomb placement from Bison.
Yeah, and right now he is trying his hardest to leave this corner, and as I say that, he actually manages to do just that, and now game is reset to neutral, but that Rashid is hurting health-wise, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on as this round progresses, and this Bison is just relentless.
And there is the Psycho Crusher, guessing the walk forward from Rashid. Kevin is on his A game right now here as we see another Goomba Stomp, drive rush, 3 straight parries there from the Rashid to get more space on the stage. Now looking for another drive rush, but is going to be jabbed out of it from Way Awesome Kevin.
I just realized the group that this Rashid is in is Buff Rashid level 2. I don't think Rashid needs any buffs, personally. But, you know, you're always going to have character bias. And meanwhile, as I'm yapping, Bison is just going to finish off this Rashid with yet another level 3. And, I mean, just look at that.
Way Awesome Kevin, he is his ways into victory, taking the Series 5-0. I got spoiled there.
The Rashid demons have been exercised. What a great job right there by Way Awesome Kevin. Phenomenal gameplay to end that. And yeah, finally, I'm sick of seeing Rashid, man.
I am just really happy that we saw approximately 4 level 3s during that set.
Yeah, we complain about no level 3, and then he gets us. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it to finish every single round after that. And I mean, it just unreal strings out of him.
Unreal pressure as well.
Yes.
He was doing an incredible job using every single tool in his arsenal to make sure that Rashid felt uncomfortable all 5 sets.
Yeah, no, definitely just kept the pressure, kept him guessing, never let him get comfortable. Basically, what the JP did to him in that first match. And I believe it was 5-0 for that JP against that Rashid. So that's definitely, you could definitely tell when, you have these levels 2 matchups, and it plays a big factor. But enough about hearing that from us. We have Benjamin Kincaid waiting along his side, Way Awesome Kevin, for an interview. So we'll send you guys on over to them. Have a good
Thank you, Will and Moss. I am standing by with Way Awesome Kevin, who ended the night on a very good note here. First things first, how are you feeling after splitting here tonight?
Man, I feel good. I feel exhausted. I feel like that last series in particular, like, I get it was a 5-0, but I wanted that. I wanted that bad.
No, wanted it indeed, and you succeeded fully with that clean 5-0 to wrap things up. We're going to talk about the first matchup here that we saw against that JP. It was a 1-4. What went down in that matchup that did not go your way?
It was interesting because round 1, like the first match in the series, I felt like I figured something out. I had pretty good reads. The damage numbers were looking good. But games 2 through 4, he locked down on defense, and I just couldn't find a way to break him open. I couldn't find a way to get him to stop blocking, maybe go for a swing, maybe the amnesia or whatever. His amnesia use was like super good. I was not ready for that. But I think the last moment was just a hard read on an earlier, like the reads for me to get the last win against that JP was like over multiple series, but it ended with me finally scoring a DI, which basically just won me the game despite the round not actually being over.
Yeah, no, it was a very, very close affair against that JP, but not what we saw in that second series, a clean 5-0 from you against the Rashid. What went right to really kind of propel you to that next level against that character?
I got to play my game. I got to play extremely aggressive, and I called the Rashid player out on a couple of early get-off-me tools, and because of that, it just kind of fell into my lap that they were scared to use them going forward, so I just got the chance to go full momentum, just throw moves out for the sake of throwing it. They were throwing out parry, like they were getting parry charge back just because I was throwing out moves. But because they weren't finding a way to get out of disadvantage, I just kept running away with the series over and over, ended it with a yurt, and it was all good.
Indeed. Congratulations on the ending on a high note there with the 5-0. Congratulations on the split here today. I'm going to toss it back over to Will and Moss to wrap it all up. Guys, back to you.
Thank you so much, guys, for that Way Awesome interview. It's the last one, Moss. I had to do it. And I mean,
not so sure you had to.
And Prod loved that one. But yeah, talking about being able to play his game plan, really, you could tell. You could definitely tell with the gameplay.
Yeah, like we mentioned, as soon as it happened in the first set,
yeah,
he read a lot of those tools that we were talking about before. Rashid jumping in, trying to get a couple spin moves on him, not able to. Kevin calls it out, and right from the get-go after that, the Rashid is scared to do anything. He can't. He's playing on the back foot, which is exactly where you don't want to be as a Rashid player. You want to be able to. It closes off so many of your tools playing like that, and you need to be up in their face. But he wasn't able to do that. Guess who was? Way Awesome Kevin.
Yeah, but I believe. So yeah, phenomenal finish to the season for sure for Way Awesome Kevin right there. And I believe that's gonna do it for us on the desk. Unless Moss, you got anything you want to say?
Shout out Kevin for those last 2 matches. Did a wonderful job this season, improving every step of the way. And also shout out Grandma.
Of course, as always, shout out Grandma, folks. So much. Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking around with us throughout this whole year. And hopefully see you guys next time.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
Over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway.
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
Cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Bill and Moss, I am joined by Way Awesome Kevin here, a Street Fighter 6 player at Shenandoah University. First things first, how are you feeling here tonight?
I'm filled up with Taco Bell and Monster and ready to rock and roll.
Filled up with Taco Bell and Monster. Quite the
For Way Awesome Kevin, it's been a learn the Rashid and JP matchup simulator. We have seen a lot of matchups both on stream and off stream where Kevin has had to face multiple Rashids and JPs over the course of the year. And I think that he's had varying success with it. Shower comes through, trying to bait the amnesia already. Kevin drive rushes in for just a second, backs out. The low projectile is going to catch him a little bit. Not looking too good on this first round. It's going to be a perfect.
JP is going to hit him level 3, but perfectly read by Way Awesome Kevin. OD Psycho Crusher, and he's in burnout, but he has enough resistance on Bison, and there's that gap close that we talked about that he can try and take advantage of. But JP is also on, and now Way Awesome Kevin trying to just get up this corner.
Yeah, the jump timing a little bit off there, and it looks like he's going to get wall splatted by Alien.
Just absolutely cooking with all these projectiles and trying to bait out that amnesia. It's not really appears to work that well.
Yeah, another thing, a little bit of moves back and forth here. Each character trying to take space on the stage, but the spacing battle is going to go to JP for now, along with, and he gets hit by the setup into a crazy projectile there from JP. No, almost no health left, and the grab will punch does, along with the upside down T-punch. Slides in, doesn't work, drive rush into the bounce, and the projectiles into the level 3 from Alien.
Yeah, just a fantastic job of waiting for Way Awesome Kevin to make his move. That's exactly I've impacted this one. Here we see Way Awesome Kevin trying to get at least one off him, and we're going to see the level Kevin trying to get the level 3 off. Is it going to connect? And it is. Way Awesome Kevin is able to take round number 5 in this one, 4-1. Fantastic job right there. Bombs and Psycho Crushers and level 3s. But we'll see if there's more of that. Great punish right there.
Yeah, Way Awesome Kevin not letting this Rashid go. I mean, Rashid.
Yeah.
Right after it leads to a tornado that gets blocked by Way Awesome Kevin.
Yeah, I would just refer to them by character names because that will get really great job by Way Awesome Kevin staying patient and waiting. And perfect parry's gonna come out, and that should be the round for Way Awesome Kevin. And there is
Rashid. Kevin's looking for a perfect. Not able to find it just yet.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this Rashid's drive meter is working.
Psycho pressure not exactly working out the way you hope, but that low slide does gets a little bit more space for Kevin to work with here. But it's going to stun Rashid. Kevin's looking for the combo. Hopefully it's a level 3, and he hits the level 2. My fault. What's the level 2 instead of level 3? It doesn't matter. It will work.
Drive rush not gonna quite find anything, but the flip kick Such a solid move for this Bison. And now Rashid out of, yeah, what can he do? Tricky part is burnout and that chip damage. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Rashid with the parry. And there it is.
He has him in the corner, looking for another bomb placement, and he's going to get the level 3 here and take set number 3 against Rashid.
And there's that level 3.
Parry as well, straight into a throw.
Yeah, right now, this Bison is just relentless. This Rashid can't do anything about it. You see it.
That is what leads to another level 3 for Way Awesome Kevin.
Yeah, just absolutely backbreaking equalize. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on as this round progresses. And this Bison is just relentless.
And there is the Cycle Crusher.
He's going to have character bias. And meanwhile, as I'm yapping, Bison is just going to finish off this Rashid with yet another level 3. And, I mean, just look at that.
Yo, Kevin,
very good note here. First things first, how are you feeling after splitting here tonight?
Man, I feel good. I feel exhausted. I feel like that last series in particular, like, I get it was a 5-0, but I wanted that. I wanted that bad.
No, wanted it indeed. And